here's what you're going to need in order to do your eyebrows. Obviously, you don't have to use these exact products, but these are just what worked best for me. So for the pomade that I'm going to be using, I used the Benefits Cabral. This is it right here in the color number 4. This is what it looks like here. Just like a medium brown type of color. It does come with a little built-in brush, but personally I find it a little bit too thick for my liking. I mean, it's definitely like doable. This is the brush that I'm using currently. It looks like this. I mean, it's still kind of thick, but it's called the Small and Gold Liner Brush. I got it from like a brush kit, I think on Outlook or something. And then I will carve out my brows using concealer today. I always do this step because I feel like this is the most crucial thing to make your brows really stand out and really make them look precise, clean, and sharp. I feel like all the other times I've done my brows, or however I've been doing my brows in the past, if I didn't carve them out, they just don't look as nice. And this is just my opinion, but I definitely feel like carving out the brow makes the biggest difference. If you've never tried carving out your brow with concealer, I definitely recommend it. Now, it might be easier to use like a cream concealer, but I just have a bunch of the Shape Tape right now, so I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape in the fair beige color. And then this is a brush that I use. I really recommend getting a brush something like this because it really defines your brow. It's just like a little sharp square brush. This one's actually from e.l.f., believe it or not, you guys. This is the flat eyeliner brush. This is what I use to carve out the brows. And then I will finish off the brows using my Anastasia clear brow gel, basically. This isn't my favorite. I just purchased the Benefit one again. And I do work for Benefit, you guys, if you didn't know that. But I do genuinely love their products. I'm using it on clients on the daily, and that's just what I want to use on myself. So, but I have not received it in the mail just yet. Anyways, I've already done my foundation, everything like that. This is about the step where I will do my brows. Now, sometimes this is like super random, but sometimes I'll spray my face with a little bit of setting spray before doing my brows. The only reason I really do that is just because I feel like, I don't know, sometimes the pomade just slides on the brow a little bit better. So let me get you guys nice and zoomed in. Okay, so now that you guys are nice and close, you can see what my brows actually look like. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and trim them really fast because they actually really needed to be trimmed prior to doing this video, but I thought I would just show you what I do really quickly. And normally I will do this before I have my foundation and stuff on, but yeah, just for the sake of the video, I already have my foundation down. So as you can see, I just brushed all my hairs up, and now I'm just going in. Now you want to be careful if you already have like kind of sparse brows, not to trim like too much. And then as you can see, when I brush down, there's still some long hairs, but then also you can see there's a gap right there, but then when I brush it up, there's no gap. So you almost want to leave some of them, but I am going to trim like a couple. Some longer ones in the front. But overall, that's pretty much what I'll do. And then I find that trimming your brows just really helps fill them in a little bit better. It just gives your brows a little bit of a cleaner look, and plus you don't have like a clear brow gel. This way your hairs won't go all over the place like throughout the day. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that your longer hairs tend to kind of have a mind of their own, at least mine do. Like throughout the day, they definitely just kind of do their own thing. So this is a great method of fixing that. But you do definitely want to be careful and do it at your own risk. This is just what I like to do. This is just like a little spoolie guy here from some brush kit. So we're gonna go ahead and actually get started with the brows here. So going in with my Cabral, I am just going to take some product and I'm gonna just start right here. I don't know why I feel like I need to be quiet while I do this. But basically what I like to do is kind of a rough outline of the whole brow before I fill it in. It's kind of like if you're drawing a picture. Like normally you'll do the outline first and then you'll proceed to do the rest of the brow, you know what I mean? So I do have a gap right here, and what I like to do is definitely keep your lines very like uniform. I used to have, I'll insert pictures here, I used to have brows that kind of divoted in and up, almost like a sperm brow. And obviously every brow is different. It's all personal preference, but that is not something that I like to do. I just try to keep all of my lines very uniform, and sometimes it doesn't come until the concealer part is where I really get the clean lines. But I try my best with the pomade to do that. Now right now I'm just kind of carving out my arch, kind of filling in as I go. I mean, I don't know, I do it like second nature at this point. I do my brows every day for work. Obviously, because I do brows at work, I have to have a really sharp brow because that's how people trust me with their brows. So I try to have a pretty good brow for work. Now the tail is a little bit more tricky to get it uniform, and I find that the concealer really is what's going to give it a really sharp edge, but I try my best to get it how I want it beforehand. Like, I feel like that's too long. So I'll just take my finger. Before the product dries down completely, you can definitely finesse it a little bit, and then I can even brush through a little bit if I feel like that's too harsh. And I find sometimes I go harsher on this brow than this brow. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I do this brow first and I'm just like taking my time, but then with the other one I'm more rushed. But you should never really rush your brows. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I do all the time because I'm getting ready for work in the morning, you know. But yeah, and then when I get to the front here, I want to be careful not to do a square. Unless you like that look, I'm just not, it's kind of my pet peeve, to be completely honest with you. I hate when I see those really, really squared off brows. If I just did a line right here, it'd be a square. So what I do is I will outline it a little bit, like right in the top and the bottom. And I might fill it in a little bit. But mostly you just want to avoid it if possible. I mean, even that looks a little bit squared off to me, and I hate that. So what I'll do is brush through it. And the best way to avoid a square is to just kind of avoid the area completely. So I'm almost removing product right here with my spoolie. And then what I'll do is when I go to the concealer step, I will show you, but I will kind of take concealer and kind of diffuse that area. This brow is basically done as far as the pomade goes. You can see the difference between the two. Very different. But I mean, this is how I like my brows, y'all. I mean, everyone does their brows super different. So then I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. I usually start about here. Again, making sure your lines are as clean as possible, like no divot, because right here is my little problem area. You can kind of almost see how it kind of goes up and then out. I hate that, so I really try to fill that in a straight line. And if you tend to mess up or go thicker than you want, it's totally fine, because honestly, if you are doing the concealer method afterwards, it's so easy to fix it. And you just want to go real light towards the front. Like, I like how this brow looks better than this brow with the front, since I haven't touched it yet. But I will just kind of do this. Something like that. I mean, honestly, I feel like my brows turn out differently every time I do them. Is that weird? I don't know if anyone else has that happen to them as well, but I just feel like it's hard to make them exactly the same every day. I don't know what it is. It just is. I'm done with the pomade for now, but I like to keep it out for a few minutes, and I'll show you why if you mess up with the concealer step. Now I'm going to go in with the Tarte Shape Tape, and now I will just take this and I will literally just take it on my hand and I will just swipe it. Like that, probably about enough for your brow, and then I will just kind of work off of that little surface there. And I will take my little square brush, and if you have like a concealer brush, even like something like this could definitely still work, but and that's what I used to use, but I just found using something more precise just makes a little bit more of a difference. And I'm just going to barely put my brush in there and just kind of take a little bit of product. You don't really want too much, just because you don't need a whole lot. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do, and this is what makes the biggest difference in my opinion, and if you're not already doing this, I feel like you need to try it at least once. Like, it's just so hard to talk and explain this, but I'm basically just going to underline the brow. Just like that. Now, I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but there is a little bit of a gap right here because this is the shape I want my brow to be. So what I will do is actually go back in with my pomade because you can see that gap right here. And I will just go in a little bit more product. And I'll just basically fill in that gap. I know that sounds weird, but I do that almost every time. And I don't know why. And then back in with your concealer. Just want to make sure that line is like really straight and uniform. And then you're just blending it out basically. And you can tell I didn't use a whole lot of concealer because you don't need it. All you're doing is literally just cleaning up, making that line sharp. Now you can definitely tell, like, that's a sharp brow. Like, that brow ain't here to play. Look at this brow compared to this one. Nothing is wrong with this one. It definitely looks more natural maybe if you just go without the concealer. But this is just my preference. If you're doing a full face of makeup anyway and you got your concealer out, girl, just try it because it seriously, I just feel like it makes them so sharp. I do this all the time on clients and blow their mind because if you've never done it before, you're gonna be so shocked by how much of a difference it makes. And then I will do the same thing on the other side underneath the brow. And if you accidentally get concealer onto the part that you didn't want it to, just go back in with your brush if it still has product on it and just kind of go over it. It's really not a big deal. And then I'm just gonna go on the top part, grab a little bit more concealer. And you can do like one brow first and then the other one. It doesn't really matter. It depends on my mood, honestly. And then I will just simply I try to do it kind of in one swipe because I feel like that gets it the most uniform. Be careful when you're around this area because again, the square brow is gonna happen, but I'll show you how to fix it. And then just blend it out like so. Now you can see right around here, I mean, it actually looks really good to me, but if you don't like this like really like sharp like edge right here, I kind of just go down like that. And then amazing, beautiful. This is a really good brow. In my opinion, this brow is like perfect. So I'm gonna go back in on the other side with concealer. Sometimes blending them out with your hand on the top is best. And then again, I'm not going in with any crazy concealer like that's lighter than my natural skin tone. I used to do that, but I find if you do that, then you only want to do it on the bottom half because then if you use a lighter concealer on the top of your brow, it's going to look really strange and like obvious that you carved them out. So you just need to be careful with what color concealer you're using. I prefer to just use like a regular like one I'd use on my face. So I think that looks pretty darn good if I don't say so myself. As you can tell, I didn't really put any kind of concealer right in here. And the reason being, if you want, you can totally do it, but I've done it before. Or I've even like done my brows very first before foundation. And then I put foundation right here and then it made this square. Like that is how you don't get a square, is if you don't put any product. Just avoid this because that's how you're gonna get a square. But I'm going to show you really quickly something you can do if you accidentally get a square, because it happens to me all the time. So I'm taking a little bit of concealer on my brush and I'm barely applying it right here in the front. And also if you just want to try something different and get like a faded brow, then you can do this as well. Obviously it looks a little crazy at first, and then you're just going to take your little spoolie and brush that concealer through the brow and just make sure it really blends. And I will just do the same exact thing, and you're not taking too much concealer at all because it can look a little bit odd if you do. And I'm really just coating the hairs. I'm barely pressing it down as well because you don't want there to be too much concealer. Like this one I kind of put too much because then you're just basically concealing your brows, you know. If you did accidentally put a little bit too much concealer, like I feel like it is a little bit too much on this side, all you have to do is go back in with your little pomade and just kind of darken any areas that you feel like got a little lost with that, but then obviously avoid like the front. And then sometimes I'm noticing that my line kind of disappeared at the top here. Add it back in. Super easy, you guys. Like, I mean, I know I feel like it seems like I'm doing a lot, like I'm doing the most here. Like going back in with this, back in with that, But if you do it a bunch of times like I do this on like a regular basis, it just becomes second nature, and literally like you can get your brows done in like under 5 minutes. And it just seems a lot longer since I'm dedicating like a whole video to it, you know? And then I will go in as a finishing touch with the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. This is honestly not my favorite brow gel, I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, it will set my hairs in place, but I just feel like I could use one that's a little bit stronger, like the one from Benefit. I also want to try out the Gimme Brow because we just got it back, which is like a tinted brow gel, so I think I would use that over top. And also what I do like about this is if you did the concealer method in the inner part, it kind of just blends that even further, and it just really makes your brows look natural. And I feel weird if I don't put a brow gel on, just because I feel like I'm missing something, you know what I mean? Okay, so this is just what my brows look like zoomed out. As you can tell, it's a look. I don't know, I'm really happy with how they look. This is just what I do on like a regular basis. I get so many compliments on my brows at work, so I just figured I would just do a little tutorial for you guys. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my face, and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, so I am back, finished my makeup. Are you liking the look? Because I'm kind of obsessed with it. I ended up going with my Sephora Pro palette, and then I'm absolutely obsessed with these lashes, you guys. Oh my god. Like, if you guys have not tried this out, this is not sponsored at all, by the way. You need to. It was literally on a Facebook ad of mine, and I just saw it while I was at work on my lunch break, and I was like, girl, I need to buy new lashes anyways, so I bought these. They're from the company called Dollar Lash Club. How freaking cute these ones are. Literally, this was $1, you guys. Anyways, that's not what this video is about. It was about my eyebrows. So yeah, I hope you guys found the video interesting and helpful like always, and if you did, please do give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel because I do put out videos once a week. And if you haven't already, please do follow me on all my social media, including my Younow, because I will be trying to live stream on there every once in a while. I think I'm gonna do a live stream right now after this because I don't really have anything else planned for the day. And I'd love to talk to you guys on there as well. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.